Welcome to Criticizer of Conlangs with your host, James Pigeon, and today the review is of Communicationssprache. Published in 1836 by Joseph Schipfer, Communicationssprache was one of the first attempts at an international auxiliary language. So, I'd like to review the phonology here, but Communicationssprache actually came out before the International Phonetic Alphabet, so the phonology isn't super well defined, but given how this is basically just simplified French, we can assume that it keeps the same sounds, which are ma, pa, ba, fa, va, na, ta, da, sa, za, la, nya, sha, ja, ya, nya, nya, ka, ga, cha, wa. And then in terms of oral vowels, it would be e, a, u, a, u, o, a. And then for nasal vowels, r, u, So, vocabulary, one of the most important parts of a good international language. It's important that speakers from all around the world can, recognize these words. And it's literally just French. So, yeah, Schiffer assumed that French was naturally an international language because back then that's what every elite in Europe spoke. So the entire vocabulary is just respelled French, slightly simplified sometimes. For example, house goes from maison to maisona, estomac becomes estoma, notre becomes no, and pain becomes pano. In terms of orthography, all silent letters were allegedly removed. W was added. E replaced E acute. A with diaereses replaced E grave. O with diaereses replaced EU and ethyl. U replaced OU. U with diaereses replaced U. OA replaced OI. And macrons were added to signify long vowels. So, decent, but some of these diacritics were definitely not necessary. And keeping OI as a digraph, I think they were definitely better options. And apparently Schiffer was actually pretty inconsistent at converting French words into his orthography, sometimes basing it off pronunciation and sometimes off of spelling, like how the silent C in estoma was removed, but the silent H in stayed. So the grammar was decently interesting and innovative for the time, straight up deleting articles, using the li suffix for adverbs, for infinitives, and your and yost for comparative adjectives. He also clearly added some stuff just because it was part of his native language, German, such as capitalizing nouns and adding a pretty complex case system. This had nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, vocative, and ablative. So for the example text, here's Pater Noster. No para, via ete cielu, ta noma sancti feri, ta roioma ais arrivi, tu volunta fareri, cum cielu ensi teru, done ais noa pão quotidian, pardona ais noa offensos, cum pardona saos offending, non permette que succumbias tentationi, ma delivre os malu. So, how well did Communicationssprache do as an international language? Well, the assumption that French is already almost a perfect IIL is, very 1830s to say the least, but as a European language, I thought that this could actually work really well. The main thing that people rag French on is the spelling, and this does kind of fix it. The main gripe I had with Communicationssprache is the case system. Just why? One could say that it makes the language more pro-drop, able to convey more information in, less space, which is true, but, is it worth it? Even native French speakers would have a ton of trouble with this. But Schiffer was actually really ahead of his time, predicting the need for an international language due to the new methods of trade, travel, and communication. Little did he know it would eventually just become English. Still, for a pre-Civil War Conlang, this definitely isn't the worst thing. Overall, Communicationssprache is the best international language that I've reviewed so far.